welcome to the second episode of this new series of the Scrum Down NBC Sports Rugby podcast. I am your host with the most, Alex Corbisiero, and it's great to be back. And look where we are. We are on site at Dignity Health Sports Park for the 2022 LA Sevens. This is the famous David Beckham statue, the home of the LA Galaxy. The beers are flowing. The crowd is in the stadium. The rugby is top notch on offer. What a day, and we have what a show for you as well. We're going to have loads of interviews, post-match analysis, lots to look forward to, especially on the eve of World Cup Rugby Sevens coming up in the next week or two with NBC. This is the final stop of the World Rugby Sevens series and where they will crown this year's winner. Let's get into the show. All right, we had to open this show of the Scrum Down at the LA Sevens 2022 with none other than the main man here, Dan Lyle, head of AEG Rugby, also an NBC pundit. But Dan, what an amazing tournament you've been able to put on, and how exciting has this event been?
Yeah, it's been a super kind of awkward build-up because we're here in August, right? August 27th, 28th. It's a weird time of the year, right? Football starting, the kids are going back to school. There's people are still on vacation. There's all kinds of things going on. But we were really able to, engage the fan base. Really, I think people were waiting to come back a little. We had over 16,500 people yesterday. I think we'll have a little bit more today. I think, and people, we have record interest in the normal slot for February 26th and 23 of 25, 26 of 23. So really excited, and we've done really well. But we've got the semifinals and finals still to come.
I know, and how much of a blow was that? With COVID in February, this tournament was supposed to happen then. But in my mind, this actually worked out quite well. You're at the end of the year. You're the final bash. The series is on the line as well. Like the crowd, like you said, have come and turned up. I think this is such a good sign for the future positive growth of this event. You've got to be really chuffed with it all as well.
Well, we like to say that we shut down the world because we were the last event and so forth. And not to make light of COVID, and we all suffered through that and so forth, but having this reboot to kind of have a think about what do we do with this tournament? What are the elements of the tournament? What's the fan fest of Epcot look like? What does the food look like? What does the drink look like? What does the entertainment look like? How do you engage with the crowd? So we upped our sports production side of things, right? And certainly in February, where we have 100 amateur teams, we'll probably have close to 350 amateur teams. Back then. So I think people are eager, Alex. They're ready to go. And we're just kind of ironing out those last kinks, and we'll go into full overdrive for February.
That's so cool, Dan. And then what have you made of the series and coming to a final end here with the World Cup on the horizon that we'll be covering for NBC as well? What are your thoughts on the actual rugby on the field?
Well, USA shocked the world, man. It came out and beat South Africa yesterday, and of course had that tough loss against Fiji today, really down to the wire. But South Africa are out of the competition, and so that opens the door for Australia, Fiji, Argentina to come in the door and win the series. We're awarding 2 champions here, not just the LA Sevens champion, but the World Seven Series champions. Have the awards ceremony tonight. That's another story. You're going to mind your P's and Q's. But all that stuff put together, it's been a great tournament. Sevens is so combative, just on the field and off the field competitively. So it's a super tournament. It's great time to be really in that. I really can't wait until we combine it with the men's and the women's teams, foreshadowing to our next encounter together and for the Cape Town Rugby World Cup.
I'm sure everyone can't wait for that. But Dan, thanks for your time here. Congrats on an amazing event you've been put on. AEG should be really proud. We've absolutely loved the time here. Everyone I've spoken to has spoke fondly of it, and I think it just sets up the future lane of this event so well. So congratulations, and thanks for your time on the show,
awesome.
buddy.
Thanks, Alex.
Pleasure. We have our next guest on this week's special LA Sevens edition of the Scrum Down. I'm joined by Abby Gastidis, USA Rugby Women's Sevens legend, Olympic captain, and one of the most knowledgeable people I know in the world about Sevens. Obviously, day 2 of the Sevens here right now. We've just seen the quarterfinals, Abby, but let's look to day 1 first. What have you made of this tournament? Some shocking news with the South Africa sort of implosion in the group stages.
It's tough. They had that battle against the U.S. First match of the day. It was a big travel day for South Africa to come here, and then they didn't perform game 1 of pool play, and in this style of tournament, it's so challenging to come back from. Then they have to get 2 wins, and unfortunately they didn't stack up against New Zealand, who are looking on form this weekend. So South Africa out of contention, and most likely meaning they're not going to medal in the series this year, even though they came in ranked first.
How crazy is that? Everyone thought they were going to cruise it as such. And then, that really opens up, my next question. Do you think it was the pressure? Do you think it was just knowing that the series on the line, losing the first game? Is that where it went wrong?
They've had a few tumbles the last couple of tournaments. They haven't been on form since maybe Malaga and Seville in Spain at the beginning of the season in 2022. They haven't even medaled in the last 4 or 5 tournaments. And unfortunately, as they walk by, and I grill into them, they are an incredible team, but unfortunately, they're not performing well. They're not coming together, and they're not exploiting what they have. They have so many assets. They had a few injuries from Commonwealth Games, and maybe that's coming into play a bit here in LA.
And it really opens the door for another team now in this tournament. In Australia, looking good, who came in at the number 2 spot there, onto the semifinals. Argentina still, they just fell at the wayside in that game, a big decider, but Fiji still have an outside chance as well, I believe. Lots to play for out there.
Definitely. It's always all to play for. And what's so exciting is this is the culmination of this series, but it's also here at home in the U.S. Unfortunately, they just lost their quarterfinal, but it's always exciting to get that win. You have Argentina, Australia, Fiji all battling it out, coming in at 2nd, 3rd, and 4th on the series. And Fiji, it's hard to look past them. When they are on form, all the offloads going to hand, they're syncing up, and they play some of the most beautiful rugby. But don't look past Australia either. They came on form. They swooped in. Kenya didn't even look competitive in their match. I think Australia won 30 plus to maybe 1 try for Kenya. So Australia and Fiji, definitely keep your eyes on them.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Who are you picking as the winner, the Sevens guru that I know? Who are you feeling in this one?
I'm going to be honest, I was cheering for Samoa throughout that last match, but obviously they're out of the series, and I think Fiji will take it home. I know Australia can come to bat, but when it comes down to it, why are they always walking by when I'm talking about them? Australia, great team, but I'm going to put my money on Fiji.
Oh, nice one indeed. And then let's transition to the US a little bit, and on a whole, had some bright sparks on day 1 with the South Africa game, but not quite able to get it together in that New Zealand game, and then faced, a red-hot Fiji in a quarterfinal. What was your sort of summarizing of their performance here?
I think it's a lack of momentum, and they're missing those tiny key moments. In a game of sevens, it's a 14-minute game. It's tiny little 1%ers that make such a difference. They let New Zealand score right before the half yesterday in that pool play match, and unfortunately, New Zealand ended up taking it away. And U.S. just not able to withstand the pressure. They crumble on the defensive sets, and some of their key players just not stepping up. They are missing Kayvon and Joe Schrader. He got hurt yesterday, and he's incredible in the air. And that's something the U.S. rely on a lot is their kickoffs. They're not retaining them, and they're actually not even maintaining their own receipts either, just giving the ball back. They lost tons of possession there in that Fiji game. They were able to come back and fight, but you need key players like Perry Baker to step it up. And honestly, Fiji handled him very well, and he wasn't able to get moving.
Yeah, it was a tough one indeed. There's some bright sparks, some young players coming to the fruition. Lucas Lechamps had a breakout year here in the Sevens series. Not maybe had his most exciting performance this weekend. Still is really starting to turn it on and make game-changing moments in a game. What have you thought about some of those more developing players in the team?
Like you said, potential, but potential only gets you so far. And in this brutal game of sevens, their inexperience is showing. And for the U.S., I think they have a bright future, like you said, but maybe it's not coming together right now. However, they have Cape Town to look forward to. All of these teams get to play again in 2 weeks. It's super exciting. They get to play for a World Cup in Cape Town. It's going to be an incredible atmosphere, and they get this little run out here, a little tester, and then maybe they can clean some things up to take it home in South Africa.
Oh, awesome. And then lastly, while I've got you here, what have you made of the LA Sevens event this weekend? Obviously had a bit of a break with COVID. There was the quest for gold last year, but this seems to be almost back to where it should be, and a great platform for future growth, and just an exciting weekend.
It's great atmosphere. You see tons of fans coming in. There's an outside tournament. getting some eyes on some young talent, and then they get to come here and watch their idols play. And it's really fun. There's a huge rugby community in Southern California, so to get them to the pitch and seeing, these international rugby stars play right in front of you, it's been fun to watch. It's great to be a part of, and hopefully for years to come, LA Sevens will continue to grow.
I completely agree. Outstanding. Thanks for your time, Abby. I know you're very busy. I'll let you get back out there and enjoy the event. Can't miss any of the rugby on the pitch. Thanks again, and we'll obviously speak to you soon.
Sounds good.
All right, here with USA Rugby Sevens coach Mike Friday. Mike, really tough result in that quarterfinal against Fiji. Hearts go out to you. But before we get to that game, just what were your thoughts on day one with the team? Lots of promise with a really strong start against South Africa.
Yeah, I mean, roller coaster ride is always with us right now. Young men finding their way. We've had a huge changeover. 8% of the squad have moved on since the Olympics. So COVID hasn't helped in terms of continuity. So sadly, we're having to learn on the job rather than give them that kind of mileage under their belts away from the World Series. So as you'd expect with young men, they're going to make mistakes and you've got to get it right to get it wrong. South Africa, first class. New Zealand, and then Canada, a bit of both, really.
That's the game you play in sevens. It's honestly a roller coaster up and down, and small moments can decide it. But while we're on that, the young team, there's some real bright sparks out there. Lucas Lecamp coming in, still, performing out on the series now. Like, how exciting is that for the future of the program as well? Yeah,
I think it's exciting times ahead for USA Rugby. And, we've got, like you said, a young 21-year-old Lucas Lecamp who's, starring and is a handful and is getting well marked now. He's a marked man. You've got David Steele, who's just asserted himself physically now, immensely in the game. He's getting the engine of a sevens player, which he's had to work hard on. So I think the future's bright. Our under-23s are looking in a good place, but they need time. They need a bit of patience, and they need a little bit of love, and also a little bit of the stern word as well.
Absolutely. And then what were your thoughts on the Fiji game just there? I know, I'm sure your heart's broken right now. But this is the name of the game we're in.
I mean, the reality is you can't start that poorly. We set up how we wanted. They kicked where we wanted them to kick, and then we fumbled the opening two, and you're 14-0 down before you know it. I thought, we were a little bit not starstruck. We were dazed. We were shocked by that. Two big punches. They fought themselves back into the game fantastically well. That 21-7 at half-time. We're in it. We had a couple of moments. We didn't quite take it, and you've got to do that against Fiji. So credit to Fiji. They punched us in the face twice from the first 2 minutes, and it was a long road back. But I'm really proud of the effort, the endeavour, the desire, the resilience, the grit. We played some good stuff out there. We just need to take those little moments when they're given to us.
But that's sevens, mate, isn't it? Small margins. But all right, as we park this LA Sevens, obviously you guys have a few more games to go. But let's look to the World Cup Sevens in Cape Town. What are your thoughts on that tournament? Obviously here on NBC, we have it in America, and we'll all be rooting for you out there.
I mean, it's going to be it's a funny old tournament, right? It's March Madness in the American world. It's straight knockout, and then you're playing for your placing. So, it is a game of roulette. You have got to be on the money, and there are small moments sometimes not in your control that may affect results. But we're excited for the opportunity. I mean, it's a different flavour to a tournament. At the end of the day, the rugby's going to be high-powered, entertaining. It's going to be fast. It's furious. And one slip up and you're gone. But more importantly, one little bit of luck and you progress. So I think it is a little bit of a lottery, but obviously there'll still be the favourite teams. But on our day, we're capable of turning over anybody at any time. So that's the beauty of the World Cup. It is March Madness in September.
And obviously with sevens, you've got the Olympics, World Cup series. But how much would it mean to actually win this World Cup and set a marker down for you and your program?
Yeah, it would be fantastic to win any cup, to win any trophy. But, this one's named the Rugby World Cup. So, of course, I think for the program, for USA Rugby, it would be a huge statement. It's going to take a lot of hard work to achieve it. But you've got to be in to win, right? And we're certainly a team that is capable of winning that tournament, as there are probably 12 or 16 other teams. But it would be a fantastic statement for USA Rugby, for USA as a country, and hopefully it will galvanise and embrace the sporting community to watch and also maybe take it up.
Absolutely, Mike. Completely agree. Thank you for your time. Good luck for the rest of the tournament today, and then really good luck in Cape Town. We'll be rooting for you.
Cheers, Corbs.
Pleasure, mate. All right, we are here at the LA Sevens, and I found a familiar face for most. LA resident, but actually playing for Australia here. Billy Meeks, MLR star, former Wallaby as well. But Billy, how cool is it to actually get to play here in LA, where you live at the moment as well, and what an honour to wear your country's colours as well.
Always an honour, mate. Anytime you get a chance to put on your country's colours is super special, and no different this weekend. Obviously, as you said, living here in LA, based in Santa Monica, it's been nice to spend some time at home, but obviously around the group as well. And yeah, it's been an amazing weekend so far, and we got a big test coming up.
And then, how did it, just give us a little bit of background story. How did this come about? I know you played a bit of sevens last year in the off season. How did it come about that you get to play it at the moment here?
Yeah, I mean, long story short, I obviously doubled in and out last year at the end of the MLR season and played in Dubai, which was actually the first leg of the World Series, and this is now the last leg. So I've started the season with the boys, and now hopefully I can finish on a high with the boys. So yeah, pretty special for me.
And you guys are playing some really good rugby. You've got a real good chance here of actually taking the series title still. You've got a big semi-final against Fiji, which is no short order in this sport.
Sure.
But how are you guys feeling as a squad?
We're feeling really confident. Obviously, as you said, we got some amazing talent in the squad. I haven't had to contribute too much on the field, which has been all right. But yeah, the young boys are going really well, and then we're playing Fiji in the semi in a couple of hours. So we know what it's like against them. They're a world-class team, and they just touched up the USA as well. So they're in red-hot form. We're in red-hot form. It's going to be one hell of a game.
And then lastly, there's a Rugby World Cup Sevens on the horizon in Cape Town. Obviously, haven't announced the squads yet, but how much is Australia looking forward to that?
Oh, massively, mate. It's been one of those ones in the calendar you keep your eye on from afar, and it's definitely creeping up on us. And obviously, Cape Town's the home of rugby over there, and yeah, obviously as a former player, you don't want to keep too much focus on what's ahead, but obviously we'll just try and focus on this weekend and then an opportunity to represent your country at a World Cup. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, so really looking forward to that.
Awesome, mate. How good. Good luck in
Thanks,
the
Corbs.
semi-final, bro.
Good to
Pleasure
see you,
to
Mark.
see you, mate.
You
Pleasure
too.
to see you. I am here with Ireland seven-star, former LA Giltini as well, so he knows LA well. Harry McNulty, so good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming there. Tough time for you, just losing a tough quarter-final, but
Sure.
what have you made of the LA Sevens so far?
Oh, it's been fantastic. Well, firstly, the LA weather, it's hard to beat coming from a rainy Dublin. The fans have been awesome. I love the part about Sevens, how there's nationalities all over coming to celebrate rugby. At the end of the day, the rugby's the winner. And the hospitality's been amazing. The facilities are world class, and we've just been having a great time.
Yeah, you had a strong day one, some good performances, got you to the quarter-final, but then New Zealand are a tough ask.
Yeah, unfortunately, the start of that game, we just didn't have the ball, and they scored two, three really just easy tries, just kind of off set piece and one error, and then they went through. But I guess we finished off the game strong. They kicked it deep, and we went the length of the field, and we were able to put away a try. So from our point of view, it's good that we know mentally that we have the capabilities of scoring against these teams. We can beat these teams. It's just a case of being on 100% of the time. So that's the hard part.
And from, Irish has a strong history in rugby, but sevens is something of a new resurgence for you guys out here, announcing yourself onto the circuit, and then now really showing you can compete. How good is that for you?
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. It was such a hard road to get onto the series. It took us 4 or 5 years. Loads of tough games all around the world, just training in rainy Dublin, as I said before, and just to be able to compete with the best all the time is amazing. Go around the world and getting new fans and meeting family and friends, it's hard to beat. Yeah.
And then you qualified for the Rugby World Cup Sevens coming up in Cape Town as well. Yeah. How excited are you guys for that?
Oh, can't wait. Cape Town is one of our favorite cities on the series, and to have a World Cup there, it's been, I think, 2019 the last time we were in Cape Town. I think it's going to be full house. It's going to be rocking. The place is going to be crazy, and it's going to be so much fun. It's knockout rugby, so it's even harder than what we're doing right now.
Yeah. All right, and I'm going to put you on the spot here right now. Obviously, now you guys are out of the competition. Who are you picking to win this thing?
Oh, I'm going to go with Fiji, I think. Just the way they play. They've been playing really well. We lost them, so it's always a bit easier when you say you lose to the winners as well. So let's go with Fiji. Yeah.
It's almost like a second home team as well with the crowd. They seem to be one of the crowd favorites as well. But Harry, thanks for your time. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks so much, guys.
We appreciate it, and thanks a lot.
Thank you. Cheers.
We have another special guest on this week's LA Sevens 2022 special edition of the Scrum Down. I managed to track down this guy. He's an international man of mystery at times, Super Bowl winner, rugby Olympian Nate Ebner, friend of mine as well. I've got to say it in there. I'm proud of that. He's a great bloke, Nate. Welcome, and how are you enjoying the LA Sevens?
Thanks for having me. The LA Sevens has been great. It's always great. For me, it's great to have an international tournament in our country that I can come see the world stage, the highest level of rugby being played in my home country. That's huge for me. And I think it's just grown and grown every year, and the rugby's just continues to be great. And I love being here in beautiful California.
And does it get you jonesing to play a little bit of rugby again? I know you've been back on the football grind, but rugby always still just wonders when Nate Ebner might pick up that ball again.
Absolutely. I mean, at this point, I'm pretty much closed the book on the football world and the NFL. So You know, I've had some injuries I'm fighting through to get healthy from, but I'll never say never to rugby. We'll see. But I got to run first before I can just walk onto the rugby.
Fair, but you heard it here first on the Scrum Down as well. And then what have you made of some of the rugby on the field? Obviously, USA started strong against South Africa, but then, you know, just weren't really to find their feet in the tournament, and then a disappointing exit in the quarters.
Yeah, I mean, overall a tough pool to start with. I think South Africa turned out to be not so competitive this weekend as they typically are. And a tough one against New Zealand, but they found a way out, which is all that matters. And then just not the start you want against a team like Fiji. They're just too good. And, you know, you spot a team like that, 14 points at the beginning, you know, you're putting yourself in a hole against a team you don't want to be down early on. So obviously the rest was too much to make up, and it was a tough way to go out. So we'll see what they can do with the rest of the day, and looking forward to hopefully, you know, getting a couple more dubs to finish it off.
Finish off strong, especially with Cape Town round the corner and lots of momentum. Hopefully they want to try to finish to run into that. But then what have you made of the event? You know, the weather's been good. It's finally back sort of post-COVID to what this tournament should be, and I think it's an exciting start of this chapter of LA Sevens.
Yeah, I mean, that has been, the COVID situation has just put a damper on so much with the sporting events, not only with rugby, but, you know, in my own world with the NFL. It's been crazy, and it's so awesome to come back out to a rugby event like this where we got all the fans. Everybody's not wearing masks, and it feels very normal again, and you got all the camaraderie and the music and the vibe and the energy is there like it should be. And it's been a great turnout, great weather, like you said, great rugby. And I'm just looking forward to it coming back sooner than later, right? We'll be back out here in February.
End of February. It's good. And I think the interest is big. And then last thing I'm going to do in this little interview, I'm going to put you on the spot. Okay. Semi-finals coming up here. Who are you picking to win this thing? Let's see, the predictor.
I mean, I got to go with Fiji because they look good against USA. And, you know, it's always going to make my boys look better if Fiji goes on to win it. But I think I'm going to go with them for sure.
It's a strong pick, mate. It's a strong pick, mate. All right.
No conversation.
Nah, Nate, thanks so much for your time. We really appreciate it, mate. I'll let you get back to all the fun inside the stadium. But nah, thanks again,
appreciate
mate.
it, bro. Yeah, no worries.
All right, we've got another special guest here on the Scrum Down, Maurice Longbottom from Australia. They've just come third place here in LA, which means with South Africa and the different mathematical equations we had going on this competition, you are the series winners, mate. Congratulations. First time ever for the history of Australia. How do you feel?
Yeah, thank you. It's an awesome feeling. It's hard to put into words. If you look back from the start of COVID, where we had, you know, 5 people fully contracted, 3 people fully fit, to then come out of the back of COVID and, you know, to go on and win the World Series, something we've never done. And it's just a massive achievement, and it just shows our hard work and how tight our group is. You know, we're out there putting our heart and soul on the line for each other.
And what do you credit to this sort of resurgence this season? And like, what do you put it down to?
Just the hours of training. You know, we get to train and we're putting in quality sessions. We're working our backside off back home, and you can see it when we're out there. We're chasing everything, and you know, we're dying for the calls out there.
And you're just such a servant to the game of sevens, for, you know, for the World Series, but also for Australia. What do you think this means for the sport there and for the profile and everything and the recognition? You know, always fighting rugby in Australia to get that recognition. There's a lot of sports to compete with. What do you think this does for it?
Oh, this is massive. You know, it just puts our name on the map now. You know, something that us as a program have never been able to do is to go and win the whole World Series. And, you know, we've come out and done it today, and, you know, it's amazing, and it's just put us right on the map.
Congratulations, mate. Enjoy the win. Enjoy it. You've earned it. Good luck at the World Cup as well. I'm sure it's a great springboard for momentum there.
Yeah, it's awesome. I said before, Birmingham, we're just hitting our peak, and, you know, win the World Series, get third here, and boost off into the World Cup next week. Awesome week ahead.
All the best, mate. Go for it. Enjoy the win. Take care. Cheers. Pleasure. And that is the final wrap-up of this LA Rugby Sevens Scrum Down special. And if you're watching, you can see on pitch side, the final has happened. New Zealand shocked Fiji in the final, lifting the trophy. But the real big story was Australia, the underdogs this season in the World Rugby Sevens series. We spoke with Maurice Longbottom. You could see what it meant to them, lifting the series title. But one thing for sure, this LA Sevens has been a cracking event. Competitive semi-finals, absolute drama along the way. Quarterfinal, extra time. You know, there was 3 or 4 possible contenders for this trophy. It came down to the second last game of the event, of the series. That's what you want as a sports fan. For everyone listening here, from me and everyone at NBC Sports, thanks so much. Thanks for all the support. Keep liking, sharing, retweeting, favoriting, telling your friends about the pod. We're really trying to grow this and make this something special this year and keep growing the game across here in America and all over the world. And a big thank you to all our guests. We have a stacked cast. Make sure you thank them as well on social media. All the best from me, and we'll see you again next week.